Gondolas are boats which exist here since the origins of Venice, although we have not a clear idea what gondolas looked like in the beginning. They developed an asymmetry in the keel of the gondola, so one side is slightly wider than the other side, and the gondola got to have what we have now, a sort of banana shape. So since the man always rows on the same side, the boat corrects itself alone and goes straight, it doesn't make a circle. So the gondolas are masterpieces of technology, although it seems so simple.
Signorina, gondola, gondola.
Gondolas were really the most common means of transport in town. They would bring you everywhere, as taxi drivers would bring you everywhere in any other town.
Gondola, gondole.
And this is the system people used for centuries. Until the 1950s, you could just arrive at the railway station and find the first gondolier and ask him to bring you for a few lire of the local currency until the euro arrived everywhere you wanted to go, like a real taxi. Then the situation changed. Now gondolas are limited in number because to be qualified to bring people in Venice, you need to have a license. To have the license, you have to go through a series of very difficult exams. You are qualified to be a gondolier through these exams, but then you have to buy the license by an old gondolier who doesn't want to continue. And then you have to buy that license with a lot of money, which would be much more than a luxury apartment. Gondoliers are they're interesting people. They are extremely proud to be connected with the identity of Venice themselves. They feel they are Venice, and it's a job which they tend to pass from father to son. So although it's not a written rule, it's like a sort of lobby, because you have the know-how when you're born here. There was no uniform for gondoliers until World War II. But after World War II, to pay homage to those who had won the war, that is the British and the Americans, they adopted the stripes of the Navy of the United States and England, because those were the tourists who had the money to come to Venice in the 40s and early 50s. This is a busy canal for gondoliers, and what we could see before were groups of 4 or 5 up to 6 gondolas together. That's a traditional thing. It's called the fresco. When you have a row of gondolas together and somebody normally singing, it's a traditional way to enjoy the fresh air out on Grand Canal, going up and down, something that you can see at sunset normally. Gondolas always have the priorities. They can go everywhere, and it's curious, they can go through the narrowest and most difficult curves you would never believe. Naturally, gondoliers help themselves by kicking the edges of the walls of the buildings along the canals sometimes, but they normally never touch the bottom of the canals with the oars, so they really row. They stand, they look forward, and they row. That's the Venetian rowing style. Something traditional here is that gondoliers, being sea people, out together all day long. They are never ashamed of sharing their intimacies at kilometers of distance. They speak very loud.
Gondola, signori.
So it's a sort of joyful profession, which involves a lot of sense of humor. So you always see gondoliers making fun of each other, and they have nicknames. So it's a beautiful job.